Yourself in tough situations.
Like what? Do you have anything?
Coach Mick.
Ryan Day said he expects you guys to be a top 10 defense this year. Do you have that same expectation?
Yes, sir.
What makes you believe that's possible?
The guys in that locker room. One of the biggest things for me is I know the experience that we have. I know a lot of the times last year, this was the first, for me even, it was my first time out there. And for many of the other guys, it was the same kind of thing in their case. So as far as the D-line, the linebacker room, and even the secondary, we got more experience. We know what it's like to be out there. We know what it's loud and third downs and stuff like that. And that'll just help us.
How much do you think that your guys' youth last year did play into the struggles that you've had?
It definitely played a role. I'm not making any excuses for it because it's not an excuse. But like I said, we can only use that to help us in the future.
Getting Josh Proctor back. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
You're supposed to get him.
Good job. What do you prefer?
Rocket for sure, but I go by both, but it doesn't matter.
Coach Day was talking about leadership all the time. You just kind of mentioned it. How much of that was just a function of how young you guys were last year, and you were trying to find your way as individual players, and you couldn't provide leadership because you were trying to figure it out yourself? I mean, where's the leadership now compared to then?
Yeah, that's a huge point. You know, it's hard to lead others when you're trying to get a grasp of things yourself because it's the first time for you. So that definitely has played a role into it. But like I said before, experience now, you know, guys know what it's like to be out there when it's bad. You know, when your own fans are booing you and stuff like that. Like that stuff sticks with you. So you know, you just use that. You use it to better yourself for the next situation you get in.
Michigan players were talking yesterday, that especially on the line, they talk about how they expected what happened in the trenches to what happened last year. How much does that, again, you're on the line, and you're part of that defense, how much does that bother you? How determined are you guys to show this year that's not going to happen?
I mean, what they expect is what they expect. Nothing towards that, but you know, we respect the rivalry. You know, so we put in the work every day regardless. You know, we have 3 goals. Let's beat the team of North being the first one. So we put in the work for that every day.
Getting Josh Proctor back, how much is that going to help you guys?
It's huge. Josh Proctor is probably one of the hardest hitting safeties I've been around. So just having that mentality, like that edge that he brings to the defensive side is huge. I can't wait to see what he does.
You guys went from really young back there to really veteran in 1 year. You're now a 4th-year guy. You got Tanner coming in. He's a 5th-year guy. Josh is a 5th-year guy. You guys are really young now. You guys are very veteran. Take on that a little bit, if you would.
I touched on it earlier a little bit. Experience is huge. Knowing what to expect, knowing how it is, and what a thing is going to be like. You know, we can watch film differently, you know, because not only have we been in it, but we understand what's going on. And I think T-Mac, I call him T-Mac, it's Tanner McAllister, but T-Mac is doing a great job just helping us with stuff from Coach Knowles and explaining it from a player to player instead of from a coach to a player side.
We've asked you a lot about Coach Knowles. What about the 2 new DB coaches, Harry Eliano and Tim Walton? Give us some insights on those guys.
I love those guys, man. Those guys bring nothing but great energy, man. Those guys are always turned. Coach E, I'm more with Coach E specifically because he's a safety coach, but I love Coach E, man. He talks about the details a lot, you know, unseen work, the unrequired hours. You know, he knows what it takes. So I'm like a sponge to those guys, man. Those guys have put a lot of years in, and they got a lot of wisdom to give out.
You were another coaching question here. With tackling, are there any differences from last year to this year with the Knowles defense and how you've seen him coach and seen him teach tackling?
Yes. The only difference is he just doesn't like live tackling in practice. He believes that you can still get better at tackling without actually going live with someone. Obviously, to prevent injuries, which is fine. That's pretty much the only difference. I mean, we're taught to learn all the positions. You know, on a Saturday, you never know who's going to play. Injuries happen, things happen. So as a safety, you got to know all 3 of those positions. The only position probably except corner, but as far as the 3 positions, you know, we're all taught to really learn all 3. Lathan's doing great. You know, he's back healthy. I wish you guys could have seen his picture. We just got down in the weight room. He's back to looking like normal Lathan. He's moving like him. So I'm excited for him as well.
What stood out to you about the 2 Notre Dame quarterbacks and whatever film work you've done so far?
I mean, they do what they do well. You know, they don't do a whole lot that's, you know, going to confuse or anything like that, but they do what they do well. You know, they listen to their coach, their offensive coordinator. He calls great plays. And they just play their strengths well.
The fact that either of them would be making their first college start, Buckner or Pine, how does that play into your benefit?
I mean, it really just depends on how well they're coached and how we're. I mean, I guess they're gaining the experience by playing us, but I'm expecting a good quarterback. I mean, I respect the Notre Dame team. So.
What are the differences that you've seen so far at Buckler versus Pine? One more mobile than the other?
Possibly. I mean, I don't have a rundown of their differences, though.
Have you watched much of it?
Yeah, but I haven't compared the two quarterbacks.
I know they had a different quarterback last year, and I know Jim Knowles wasn't coaching in the game. Did you guys watch the Oklahoma State versus Notre Dame film a lot, since that was his defense still?
Yeah, I mean, I remember me and T-Mac, we just throw that game on just to watch it because, one, he can kind of just talk me through it, see what he was seeing and what was actually going on. And I ask him all the time, like, what was it like and stuff like that. So he's been huge on helping me with stuff like that.
Ronnie, you guys have the potential to have 6 safeties out there, rotating positions, whether that's Court and Cam and Lathan or you starting 3. How much of an advantage is that for you guys to know that those other 3 are just as good as the guys out there starting?
It's huge, and it's a long season. You never know who's going to end up playing week 13, week 11, week 10, or whatever. So just to know that you have that depth and that when you have the people that are coming in, but that those are dogs too. Those are great players who are going to keep the standard at what it is. So it's huge to have those guys behind you.
I've heard a few different people describe Cam as somebody who could really take that step this season. Have you seen that from Cam Martinez, and what are you really looking forward to seeing from him when his training camp starts? Yeah, the sky's the limit for Cam. I mean, Cam knows this. I'm with him pretty much every day. But Cam is one of the most detailed guys I know when it comes to taking notes, watching film, how he corrects himself, how he watches himself. So Cam knows what he's going to do, and I'm excited for him, and the other guys know as well. What about Kai? Because Kai kind of took us all by surprise in the spring. Are you surprised by how quickly he picked things up and was able to make an impact? I wouldn't say, I guess you could say a surprise, but I just didn't know too much about him. But when spring game came, I quickly realized, he had a knack for just making a play or just being around the ball some way, somehow, whether that's making a tackle or a PBU or something like that. So I'm excited for Kai too.
Just in general, they said 11-2 with a Rose Bowl win. It's a great season for a lot of people, but not for you guys, especially when you're losing the you lost to. How much of a chip is there on your shoulder? How much, not that you were complacent, but how much hunger has that given you for this year? Yeah,
I would say hunger is kind of an understatement, we know what happened last year. We know the mistakes we made. We know what we have to do to correct them. And we're eager to prove to everyone that we've been putting in the work, and we're prepared.
How much does the Mystery name still function?
I mean, that rivalry is the rivalry it's always been. So we're going to wake up feeling the same way regardless. We put in the work because we respect the rivalry and we respect that team. So the work's going to get put in regardless of what happened last year.
Hey, Ronnie, can you talk about some of the corners on your team? We saw Denzel start last year and Cam Brown coming back to starters. But we're hearing Jordan Hancock might be a guy on the rise. Maybe talk about some of the corners and who you think can really help you.
Yeah, 2 young guys, Jordan Hancock and JK. Those 2 guys, they bring the juice. They bring the energy. If for some reason, practice down, they'll quickly get us back up with a pick or a PBU or something like that, man. I just love those 2 because they're very competitive. They're very eager to just jump right up with Jackson, Marv, they don't care. And not only do they get up right there, but they compete as well. They make their own plays as well. So that just shows you that they're ready. Because if you can do it against those guys, you can do it against anyone in college football.
Yeah, you mentioned Marvin. We saw him in the Rose Bowl with the breakout performance. We're hearing he's having a great offseason. Is that what you're seeing out of Marvin too?
Yeah. So with Marvin, we're in the same squad, so we lift together a lot. And whenever we do our sprints, I always run next to him because he always brings the fastest version of me. Because I'm not faster than him, but I know if I'm next to him, I'm like try to beat him. So I always make sure I'm running next to Marv just so he can bring the best out of me.
Ronnie, can you talk about some of these squads or the different groups? Coach Day was talking about how with the leadership you guys are mixing it up. It's not just in your position group or that kind of thing. Can you just take us inside that a little bit and explain maybe what the benefits of that are? Yeah, so
we have a few squads on the team with a set of, I believe, 3 to 4 leaders on each squad. It just gives us a chance to, the squads are all different. We pick the squads, but different positions, different, everyone has to be different. So it allows us to become closer with someone who you might not have been closer with, because it's easy for guys to just be with the DBs. It's easy for receivers to be with the receivers and kind of just be in your position group. It allows us to reach out and expand our team chemistry and our brotherhood.
When your coach said it would take $13 million from NIL dollars to help keep the roster intact, how did that come across to you as a player, knowing that you put that call to action out there for the fans and the donors?
It's huge to know that your coach is behind. Excuse me. your coaches behind you and the trend that college football is going in. You know, I think it's good that I think it's great that college athletes are being able to make money off their name and image after so long not being able to.
Do you know where that number came from? Like, it wasn't 10, it wasn't 15.
I don't. Nah, I don't.
Following up on Doug's question on the leadership group and squads, how does it work? I know you have that you as a quarterback or a wide receiver, but how does it work?
I mean, there's a few squads on the team, and you just work out with that squad, like that's your group. I mean, we obviously work out all together, but if something happens and if someone in your squad is late or something like that, then your squad gets specifically penalized and stuff like that. So it allows you to like instill discipline and stuff like that in each squad and stuff like that. I believe we changed it in the winter. It was less, I want to say like 12, 15 maybe. I don't know the exact number.
Ronnie, not for the sake of the squads, but for yourself as a leader. Like, is it easier to be just the leader of the safeties than it is to be the leader of like guys that might play offense? And if it is, then like, does it put you out of your comfort zone, kind of help you become a better leader on your own?
I mean, if you're picking and choosing who you want to be a leader to, then you can't really call yourself a leader, honestly. So if you want to put that title over your head and say you're a leader, you got to be a leader to everyone in that locker room.
Do you feel like you've become that?
I try to lead in any way as possible. You know, if guys come to me for anything, you know, I'm there for them. I'm always down to help out people under me because that's what the people did to me when I was younger. So that's what I got to do. That's what I'm going to do.
Did you have to develop that, or did you always kind of feel like you were somebody who could become a leader?
I've always felt like I can, just growing up.
Does your squad have like a cool name or anything?
Nah, we squad 4.
Or just squad 4?
Squad 4. We throw the 4s up.
For you
Squad 4. Shout out Squad 4.
For you personally, I mean, you came in here, you had an injury to start out. You've kind of gradually moved your way up the depth chart. Obviously, you've had some, you know, coaching transitions along the way. Just kind of what's this journey been like for you to get to this point?
It's been a roller coaster. You know, I've had a new position coach every year. I think I've been in college, honestly. So it's been a roller coaster. There's been ups and downs, but I'm thankful for it all. You know, without God and without my family supporting me and the brotherhood, you know, I wouldn't be where I am, and my parents as well. So, you know, I'm just thankful that I'm here now, and I'm excited for the future.
Does it make you more grateful to be in a position like this where you're one of the guys being selected to represent the team at Big Ten Media Days? For
sure. You know, there was times where I didn't know what my future would be like. I didn't know what I was I couldn't see myself in this position at times. So for me to be here and represent the great program that I attend, it's an honor.
What gave you that confidence that you would eventually get here even through those ups and downs?
Getting healthy. Getting healthy.
What does it say to coaches at the next level that you're able to adapt to all these different changes in position coaches that you've had through your time at Ohio State?
I'm a student of the game. You know, I'm willing to learn, and learning isn't a problem for me. As far as retaining information and learning the playbook and stuff like that, that's second nature. You know, I've been doing that for a long time. So, you know, I love the game, and I'm a student of it as well.
With the way that this defense is meant to sort of change the picture for a quarterback, do you think that places an extra importance on versatility, like you've shown with the role position, with the adjuster position?
Most definitely. I think playing safety in general, you got to show your versatility. You got to be versatile, because if you give the same picture, you're defeating the purpose at all. You know, you're just kind of turning over to the offense. So being able to use my versatility and my athletic ability is going to be huge.
Ronnie, you were the leader of the defense, the defensive backfield last year, leading tackler on the team. Then to have Tanner come in and kind of split duties with you as one of those leaders, those veteran guys, and to even have Josh back, I don't know, you've already been asked about the experience, but just to have the type of leadership that you guys have from Tanner, being with Jim Knowles, from you with the experiences you've had, from Proctor coming back from an injury, like all of it together, like how good can you three be together?
I mean, together, it's not even about just us three. It's about, you know, us as a whole unit, honestly, BIA and whole, obviously, outside of the defense. But, you know, that information spreads throughout the unit. You know, it doesn't just stay with us three. And to have that experience, it can only help us. You know, we can only get better from it.
Have you been cautious to use the BIA term the last couple of years? And now do you really want to bring that back? You guys trying to make sure that everyone knows that the BIA is back?
Nah, I've never been cautious with it.
Ronnie, when talking about the Michigan loss last year, just what was it like that night, day after? You know, you guys have been so successful in that game. How did it hit you emotionally to not win that game?
It was tough.
linger? Like, how much do you guys, is it a motivator that's in
Yeah,
your
it's
head?
a motivator for sure.
Is it something that guys talk about? Or is
Of course.
it
I mean, regardless of what happened last year, that rivalry it means a lot to us, and we respect that rivalry to the fullest. We're going to prepare every day for that team, no matter what. So yes, last year, of course, motivates us, and we use it as motivation, but the rivalry is that rivalry for a reason.
Does anything change, though, that, I mean, again, they dealt with it for years. Of you lose your rivalry game, and then you carry that through a whole year. Does anything feel different? So is there anything, when you win that game versus you lose that game and you have to wait another whole year before you can play that team?
I mean, we're excited to play November 26th.
You seem very serious about it. Like, is it?
I mean, yeah.
You have the date marked out. Did you know November 26th was, that's the date of the next game, the day that you guys lost last year?
Yes.
You already knew that?
Yeah.
We know you've got a lot of guys, a lot of good guys in the defensive line. The question is, you have a guy, maybe not the Chiefs level.
Can you speak up a little bit?
Yeah. We know you've got guys on the defensive line who are really good, but you have an elite player. What have you seen from your defensive line that can't summarize what you can tell? What have you seen in terms of this guy or that guy might be the next?
Experience for sure. The guys that we got coming back, the guys who kind of missed out of last year due to injury, who were halfway in the season and then halfway out, it was kind of tough. We had guys that had to step up and fill the shoes last year, but this year we have young guys who are playing tremendous, and then we have the older guys who are helping them out, but also playing tremendous as well. So I'm excited for our defense. The sky's the limit for them.
Are there one or two that have really just kind of jumped out to you?
I'm really liking all of them. All of them. I like JT. JT's just so fast, and JT is very athletic for his size. He's very athletic for his size. Yeah.
One question about CJ. I don't know how much you're going against him this summer. Quite a bit. What's different about him now? Obviously, he's got experience. But what's different, even from the end of last year to now?
He knows what's coming. He knows what's coming, and not only does he know what's coming, he knows how to counter that, how to react to that. And besides of his God-given talent, but his ball placement and stuff like that is crazy. And his receivers only helps him.
Sometimes it's frustrating because he's doing everything right. Look, if the offense does everything right, it's really hard for a defense to
Yeah, they say better offenses will always beat the good defense. So, yeah, at times that happens. But, that's football. You charge us to the game.
Ronnie, how quickly did Jim Knowles embrace the Michigan rivalry?
I mean, it's really hard. It's kind of something that grows with time. You can't just really say that you know about it if you haven't really been through it. And he understands that, and so is the whole new defensive staff. They know that we respect it, and I'm sure they do too. But for him to say that he's fully in it, it's kind of hard to say that without really, being a part of it for too long.
Earlier today, Coach Day said that the 3 goals of this team are to beat Michigan, win the Big Ten, win the national championship. How do you guys balance those big, ambitious goals while also trying to take it game by game through the season?
Coach Day does a good job of reminding us that no matter that those are three main goals, we do have to take it week in and week out. Every game we play, teams are going to put their best foot forward. We're going to get their best shot. So we know that. So we got to come with our best shot. But definitely being the team up north is obviously our main goal first. And then after that, the Big Ten comes up. And then after that, the national championship comes up. So it kind of lines up perfect.
Ronnie, there's a lot of wide receiver talent in that room, especially from Jackson. Is there one of those guys in that room that just gives you problems in practice? Just one in particular, or do you just, or is it just all balanced out? A lot of talent there.
A lot of talent. Like everyone is, they're all good receivers, great receivers. I don't really guard Marvin because he's more outside on the corners. But just watching him and Denzel go back at it, because Denzel will play perfect coverage and CJ will make a great throw. And then watching Denzel get his back and with a PB or something like that. So watching those two guys go at it is always fun to watch.
Coach Day also mentioned that C.J. Stroud is an important leader for both offensive and defensive players. What does his leadership mean for you as a defender?
It's huge. Knowing that he's going to get his guys going and he's going to bring it and expect that from us, that just only motivates me and the other guys on the defensive side of the ball. Practice has to be a grind. It has to be hard. It has to be real. You can't fake practice because it'll show on Saturdays.
Ronnie, you said you feel like you've had a different position coach every year you've been here. I think the programs have 4 coordinators in 5 years on your side of the ball. Do you ever hear about that from recruits? Like, what's the deal with the defense? Like, what direction are y'all going in? Because I feel like they would have to have some belief in what you're building, right?
Yeah.
And maybe it's a little difficult to believe in it when it's sort of changing everything.
I've never been asked that by a recruit, honestly.
How about for a guy who's in the building, when it does seemingly change year over year?
I mean, the guys have been here, so like we've all been going through it.
No, I'm wondering if that's difficult for you guys to have it just change year.
It's definitely a challenge for sure. You definitely would like to build a 4-year relationship with your visiting coach, but that's not the nature of the game we play in. It's a business. Things happen like this. You just got to be willing to adapt.
When you were a prospect and trying to decide where you wanted to go to college, how important was coaching stability to you?
It was huge. I did not expect it to be like this. I definitely had no clue it was going to be like this, but it was.
Earlier